Good day, precious internet people. I don't know if anybody else is feeling what I'm feeling, but in the words of one of my famous comedians, I would really like to know what the fuck is going on. If you've never seen Bo Burnham's Inside, that was a good one. Anyway, woke up this morning feeling all kinds of discombobulated. This has been going on for days. Had a lot of people ghosting me for appointments and confusion about what time appointments are. And, it seems like it's not just me. So I would just really like to get some clarity about what is going on in the world right now. And so, dear spirit, tell me what it is I need to know because, oh, Lordy, I feel like there's some stuff going on. So, I'm getting out my handy dandy prism oracle and we're going to do a little bit of a reading right now. So, we have shuffled and we're going to do a general check in to see what is going on. So the first card is energy on its way out, and that is rest. So, if you've been feeling a little bit like you needed extra rest lately, or you've been feeling a little lethargic, or things have been slow, that's the kind of energy that is moving out. And this seems particularly relevant for me. I just came back from a great big trip. I was gone for 2 weeks in Sedona, Arizona, doing some spiritual retreat and learning more so that I could come back and be more effective. And I got back home, and all of a sudden, everything's picking back up. And it's a little bit of a challenge to get back into the swing of things. But I feel like if this is coming up, it's not just me. So, rest is essential for all beings. This card symbolizes the need for a little extra downtime to recharge. By giving yourself and your body the rest you need, you'll conserve the energy to achieve goals with clarity and purpose. Well, that's the energy on the way out. So, if you have been taking it easy, if you have been stepping back, if you have been doing a little bit of extra rest and rejuvenation for yourself, that's energy that's on its way out. So, energy on its way in. Anxiety. Hello, anxiety, my old friend. And yeah, I can definitely, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. So, when you're feeling anxious, it's usually because you are very worried about something that has an uncertain outcome. When this happens, we write a script in our heads, creating an outcome that is likely far worse than the actual outcome. Try your best to stay in the present and not focus on events that haven't occurred yet. To be frankly honest, the present has got a lot of crazy stuff going on. There are a lot of people that are very anxious over world events, anxious over what the financial market is doing, anxious about their own financial situation, anxious about what is possibly going to happen in this world. How can it possibly get better? And I'm so glad that I actually got to take a little time off and go to this spiritual retreat because I got to spend a lot of time with people that are actually doing things on a big scale to help make this world a better place. And I aspire to do that as well. So there are a lot of people doing things behind the scenes to actively try and make things better, both personally in their own lives, collectively in the work that they're doing. And all of these have ripple effects out into the world. And so, one of the tactics that Matt Kahn, one of my favorite mentors, talks about is that when we are in a state of feeling upset about something, and goodness knows there's quite a bit to be upset about in this world right now, just truth. Uh, the best thing that we can do is look at the situation and assess, is this something that I personally can do anything about? If it's in your living room, If it is right in front of you, if it is happening to you, then yes, this is something that you can personally do something about. But so much of our anxiety often centers around these big events that are going on in the world that nobody asked our opinion before they went ahead and did it, like the Iran-Israel conflict, the tariff situation, my husband's job, they just laid off a really large number of people, and he's getting worried about his job situation. And so those are all representative of things that we don't actually have control over. Nobody asked us. It's not actually happening in our living room. It's not actually happening to us unless we are specifically in the middle of those situations. And if you're watching this video and you are in one of those situations, my heart goes out to you. And I am so sorry that you are experiencing this. But odds are, if you're watching this video, you're not in one of those situations. And so the best thing that we can do is send blessings of solution into those situations. Send our prayers, send our positive energy, send blessings of the opposite, whatever it is that we're seeing. If it's financial devastation, blessings of abundance, blessings of stability, blessings of everyone's having their needs met. If it's war, blessings of peace, blessings of reconciliation, blessings of people coming together for solution and recognizing all of the things that we have in common rather than all of the things that divide us. And then to refocus on our own situation, our own lives, our own here and now. What is in front of us that is asking for our attention? Right now, I've got my pets. I've got my list of clients that I need to take care of today, notwithstanding the one that, we had a schedule mix up and ended up having to reschedule, which kind of led me to do this video because this is like, past couple of days, things with clients, our schedules just keep going, which, uh, that's not the best outcome for everyone involved. They're not getting the help they need. I'm not getting the support that I need. And it's not a fun situation, but it's going to get better. And we need to focus on where our energy is most effective. What can we do? What thoughts can we think? How can we change our thinking in this situation? What actual actions can we take? So if you feel inspired to send money to someone in need, if you feel inspired to volunteer in an organization that's sending help and relief, if you have a actual ability to make a positive impact in the situation that you are observing that is distressing you, then please do. But the other important thing to realize is that if what we're doing is just watching it on a screen, our brain misinterprets this as something that actually is happening to us and is actually our personal responsibility. And so maybe we need to turn off that news. Maybe we need to step back and pay a little bit less attention to all of those bad things that are going on and focus on where our power is. Because when we are very, very focused on really, really big problems that we literally can't do anything about, that instills learned helplessness inside of us and increases our anxiety and reduces our effectiveness in being able to actually address our own lives. And so we do what we can. If there's literally nothing that we can do, then we just send positive energy. We send our blessings, and then we refocus on what can I do? What is actually in my actual life, literally in my living room, not on a screen, but literally in a living room that is begging for my attention. And we refocus there. I once again want to remind everyone, peace on earth is an inside job. The more that we can be peaceful inside of ourselves, the more that we can create peace in our own little corner of the world, the more that we can reflect peace into our relationships, into our jobs, into our own inner being, the more that that peace cannot help but spread. And so that, even though it doesn't seem like we're doing much, even though we've been trained to think that it's selfish to just think about my life and how can I make my life peaceful, that's actually some of the most important work. And by training us that thinking about our own life, our own peace, our own well being is selfish, that's actually detrimental to creating peace on earth. It sets us at war with ourselves. It makes us think that our needs don't matter, and they really, really do. And the persons whose responsibility it is first and foremost to ensure that we get peace, to ensure that our needs are met is us. Me right here. It's my responsibility to create peace in my life. It's my responsibility to make sure my needs are met. It's my responsibility to treat myself with compassion and kindness and to be as effective as I can in my own journey. And that's the same for all of us. And it's not selfish, it's necessary. Because if we don't have peace in here, if we don't have love and compassion and kindness in here for ourselves, then what are we reflecting out into the world? It's certainly not as much love, peace, compassion, and kindness as it could be, because we can only give to the world what we have for ourselves. And sure, we might have a little bit, but how much more could we put out in the world if we had more on the inside? We're all good people. We're all doing the best we can. And learning how to be our own compassionate, loving supporters, our own peaceful friends in our own lives is going to be of immeasurable help to this world. And it's going to make everything that we do more effective. It really will. We can't abuse ourselves into peace on earth. We can't. It's not possible. Because when we abuse ourselves, then we're just more hurt, more angry, more upset. And then that spills over into the world. What comes out of our cup when we pour our cup is what is in our cup. And if our cup is filled with self-abuse and self-derision and self-doubt and self-hate and self-feeling like I'm not good enough, well, then what do you think comes out of our cup when we pour it? So, yeah, that's the important work is here in our own hearts. All right. So, what is the lesson that we're learning right now? Illumination. Illumination. So, drawing this card is like turning on a light in a pitch black room. When the room is dark, it can feel unfamiliar, scary, and mysterious. However, once the lights are turned on, you can see and feel the truth of your situation and approach what you've illuminated with a deeper knowing and ease. Yeah, I feel like a lot of the stuff that we're seeing in the world, a lot of the tomfoolery, we'll say, that's been going on behind closed doors is becoming apparent to more and more of us. More and more people are looking at the systems that we have been raised in, these institutions that we have been taught to trust, that we have been taught are necessary. And we are seeing now just how dysfunctional, destructive, and how much these things are actually not working for us individually or collectively. And that's a scary thing. That's bringing up a lot of anxiety. And this is not going to be an easy process because I'm reminded of what Cryon says. You know, what happens when you turn on a light in a dark room? You see all the dirt that's been there hiding in the dark. And humanity has been living in a dark room, metaphorically, for ages. For ages. And now we've entered this new energy on the planet since 2012, and it's just like turning on a light in a dark room. And now all of a sudden we are seeing all of the corruption, all of the inappropriateness, all of the ways that we have been short-sighted and thinking about short-term profits, not long-term sustainability, and all of the ways that we have been serving a very small portion of people at the expense of everyone else. And it is not pretty. It's not pretty. And it's definitely anxiety provoking because how do we even fix problems this big? And I think it comes back down to our individual selves. There we have more power as individuals than any of us realizes. Our intention, our consciousness literally changes reality. That's what I do for a living. I use my consciousness to help other people change their reality, release things that are holding them back. I do this for the weather. I've cleared clouds. I've got a video of that on my channel. I have seen firsthand how it is possible that our literal consciousness, what we think with pure intent and emotion behind it, how that literally impacts the world around us. And it's important. It's important to recognize our own power. You are far more powerful than anyone has ever given you credit for. And by teaching us our whole lives, by programming us our whole lives that we as individuals don't really matter that much, that we're not good enough, that we need to look to all of these outside sources for answers, that we need to consult the experts and the institutions and the governments and et cetera, that's taking our power away from ourselves. And now part of this illumination is truly a return to our own power, a return to recognizing the power that we have to change our individual lives, to make different choices, to pull our power away from these institutions that are detrimental to us. So again, I feel like it's really important to stop paying so much attention to all of those things that are screaming for our attention all the time, especially that stuff that's just doesn't really matter. If it's just, ooh, new shiny thing, if it's just, ooh, here's something bad that's going on over there that we have no control over whatsoever, if it's just something that's telling us somehow that we're not good enough the way that we are, that, oh, try not to age. Who can stop doing that? Like all this focus on staying young and looking a certain way and having certain things, like it actually is kind of pulling us away from a lot of the stuff that really matters. Like what really matters is, how are you feeling on the inside? Are you peaceful? Are you compassionate? Are you kind? Are you loving? Are you loved? Are your needs met? And sure, status matters, but not nearly as much as having peace, not nearly as much as having some sort of self worth. And if our self worth is based on outside stuff, based on what other people think about us or how we look, those are things that can be taken away. But if your self worth is based on, I'm a good person, I contribute to this world in a positive way, I have many skills and abilities, I have people that care about me and I care about people. If we have those internal things, those can't be taken away. And so it's important, again, to return to the inside, to recognize our own inherent magnificence, our own inherent worth, our own inherent capability that is so important right now and is going to lead to so much more illumination. in our lives. So I think that this is an invitation to really think about like what's important to us, what's truly, truly important to us. I mean, sure, we have our collections, our things that we like, but if that were all to go away tomorrow, does that destroy our identity or are we still secure in who we are, separate from our stuff? And it's time to figure out who we are and what's important to us underneath all of that stuff. Because it truly feels like all of our stuff, it ain't filling that hole inside of us. All of our stuff is kind of dragging us down more than it is helping us. All of our stuff is leading to more environmental devastation than it is to leading to sustainability and peace on earth. So maybe our stuff needs to be evaluated. Maybe it's time to put some importance on some other things. Hmm. Advice from our higher selves right now. Love. Love is the answer. I would like to start with some self-love, you know? Uh, so many of the people that I'm working with, like, they're going through incredibly difficult things. They've experienced incredibly difficult traumas, and so many of them, myself included, have turned all of those terrible things that we've experienced into reasons we don't love ourselves, reasons we don't feel like we are worthy of love from other people. And according to the universe, we are unconditionally loved. Unconditionally. There is literally nothing that you can do that is so bad that is going to stop the sun from shining on you. The universe loves you so much that every single day that sun is going to rise and it's going to shine for you, no matter who you are, no matter what you've done. Every single day, Gaia is going to stay beneath your feet and allow you to walk upon her because she loves you so much that she is going to support you no matter what. Ensuring that there is food growing plentifully around us all the time so that we are nourished, ensuring that the rain falls from the sky and the water flows so that our bodies can be nourished. We are so loved by this universe that we are supported in being just as beautifully good as or as awfully bad as we choose to be. We are unconditionally loved. And that's hard for us to understand as humans because we are very conditional. We have a tendency to divide things into good, bad, right, wrong, up, down, left, right, place things into the categories, and then to say these things are deserving of love and these things are not. And too often we place ourselves into the category of not deserving of love, including not deserving of love from our own selves. And I am not saying this from some lofty pedestal where I've never done that. This is something I'm still developing on the inside of myself, learning to love myself inside of all of my various different moods, inside of all of the various different things that I experience. And I could tell you from a lifetime of practice, I've got a lot of experience in self hate, self doubt, self abuse, to the point where sometimes it is so ingrained in me that I don't always recognize that I've been abusing myself again by neglecting my physical body, by sitting there and working so hard for so many hours in a row that I've forgotten to eat anything or stand up and stretch or have a drink of water or even go to the restroom. And that's self abuse too. That is. I don't always recognize when I'm in it, even now, even though I've been practicing loving myself. And so, wherever you are on that journey of self love, self acceptance, like, see you, you're not alone. And if you don't feel like you're lovable for whatever reason, that too is just another part of you that is aching to be loved and accepted. I love the Matt Kahn teaching, whatever arises, love that. And I encourage you to look that up because love is the answer. Love is what we are learning right now. Love is the advice from our higher selves on how we can meet the challenges of this moment with the greatest effectiveness. So why don't we ask, what would love do in this moment? What would love do? In this moment, I think love would reach out and give you a great big hug and tell you you are not alone and that you are magnificent and you are beautiful and you are worthy and you are here for a reason and you are supported. And even though it doesn't always feel that way, that love is unconditional and it is always there. It is always there. It's just a matter of sometimes we don't have the ability to see it. But you are very loved. You are so loved. And you are so important in this world. And I encourage you to work on loving yourself more, showing yourself more compassion, more kindness, more understanding than you've ever received from anyone or anything else. Because in this world, there's one person who is going to be with you every moment of your life from the day you're born until the day you're no longer on this planet, and that is you. And you deserve your own friendship, love, trust, compassion, kindness. That's going to make your world better, no matter what you're going through. Like, just rationally thinking about it. Let's say something bad happens to you. Let's say you lose your job, just as a for example. Does it make your life better to say, oh, this is evidence I'm a terrible person. I'm so shitty. I'm never going to get another job again. This is a disaster. I'm so worthless. Does that make any feel better? Or does it feel better to say, all right, sucks that I lost this job and I'm still a good person. I have all of these skills and these skills are valuable and I'm going to find another job. And maybe this is an invitation for me to reevaluate some things and go after something better that I actually want instead of that job that maybe I wasn't even satisfied in for a while. I think I can do this and I'm going to give it my best shot. All right, me, let's go. Like, of those two scenarios, which one felt better inside of your body? For me, there's no question. It was the one where I spoke to myself with love. So that's the advice from our higher selves right now. Whatever it is that you are going through, speak to yourself with love. Whatever it is that you are about to do, ask yourself, what would love do in this situation? And do your best to move in that direction of love because the world could use a lot more love right now. It really could. And so could every one of us. All right, outcome of this period in life. Sweetness. Well, that's encouraging. All right, so sweetness. This card is a signal to savor the sweet moments in life and to remember them when things get rough. The small things in life are often the sweetest and they easily go unnoticed. Sweetness is always there if you look for it. So it seems like this is an indication that the challenges are not exactly going to go away. That's what this feels like. And this feels like it is a call to us to make sure that we are acknowledging and looking for and remembering to focus on those little good things that are always part of our lives. So, not every day is going to be fantastic. It really isn't, especially as we are continuing to move through this intense energetic change. Like in the conference that I was just in, a master astrologist, Michelle Karen, gave a uh, astrological reading as far as the next few years coming up, what we can expect. And it looks like the rest of 2025 into 2026 and potentially even into 2027 looks like it's going to be a rough ride for humanity with lots and lots of unrest and lots of gigantic changes. And one thing I know about change, not always comfortable, definitely not always comfortable. And so it's important to remember to look for the sweetness. It's important to remember to look for those little good things in life that are always there and to remember to appreciate them in the moment because that's going to help make all of this more bearable. So, what are the little good things that are always part of your life? So, for me, just a few examples. My favorite mug of coffee. Let the adventure begin. Mm, delicious. My cats and the way that I get to play with them or snuggle with them. The feeling of that moment when I get to lay down in bed at the end of the day, and that's literally the only thing left to do is to just lay there and allowing my body to sink into the bed and feeling it support me and taking a deep breath and just going, ah, and feeling all of that tension release from my body. That is some serious sweetness that I get to look forward to every day. A hug from a friend. So these are some sweet moments, just a couple of examples. And I think that if we focus on the sweetness in life, that it's going to help us get through the challenges. It's going to help make the anxiety more bearable. It's going to help us get to the other side of these challenges that we are going through personally and collectively with just a little bit more ease and grace. And oh my goodness, I don't know about you, but I am certainly ready for some ease and grace in my life. So thank you, Prism Oracle, for that lovely reading. Let's see, is there someone else that wants to say anything today? I'm feeling some dragons. I'm feeling some dragons. The dragon energy is really waking up, really like the dragon energy on the planet is becoming very strong. Even at the conference that I just went to, Dr. Amber Meliha Wolf had literally, since the last time that I'd seen her at a conference, just channeled all of the Lemurian dragons. And she's like, I've never liked dragons in my life. This was completely unexpected. And I just keep feeling the dragon energy around me. And I feel like it's part of this awakening on the planet. The dragons are waking up. The dragons are starting to interact with us more. And one of the most special and privileged things that I get to do is to channel dragons. So this is Brutus, and he is my first dragon companion, and he he sits on my global healing grid every day. Uh, but that was a very interesting story of when he came into my life because my daughter and I were driving through Georgia on our way to Florida, and we were going through this area that was devastated by a forest fire. And I was just, my heart was hurting to see everything that had been destroyed and all of the trees and all of the vegetation. And some of it was still smoking. And so I start doing clearing, realign, reset, rebalance the meridians, realign, reset, rebalance the ley lines, realign, reset, rebalance the vortexes, releasing this energy of fire from the land, realign, reset, rebalance the land. And I'm doing all of this clearing work, and it's heavy and it's hard. And then I hear in my deaf ear this big cracking sound. And then I feel this giant energy just kind of like come up out of the earth and then start to fly alongside of my car. And then all of a sudden, the work that I was doing got like 1,000 times easier, like light as a feather instead of like carrying a 500-pound weight. And that was Brutus. That was Brutus coming into my life. And so, who is the dragon that would like to speak to us now? It feels like there are three. So, the first one, ooh, interesting. Metatron's cube came up. I wasn't expecting that. So Metatron's cube, mirror into self, attunement, and heart song. So Metatron's cube, let's see. I believe that that is back here. So the meaning of this card is soul signature. Metatron's cube holds sacred form within it. What it represents for you energetically today is a need to recognize the beauty of your own sacred form. Your soul signature carries a very specific geometric pattern, one that gets more complex as your soul advances in experience. That pattern emanates a specific frequency that plays as your heart song in full colors, vibrations, patterns, and sounds that are specific to you. Have you ever heard your own heart song? Are you able to recognize any of your own beauty and magnificence as a unique creation? This is what is being asked of you. In this moment, take a deep breath. Appreciate yourself in all of your uniqueness. Imagine Metatron's cube spinning within your heart until it shifts into a different pattern, and then pay attention to the information that starts coming through. These are clues to who you are. Even if you have done this before, it is time to receive another attunement of your higher self. Invite Metatron and the crystal dragon in to assist. What a beautiful message. And I truly do feel like that's echoing a lot of what I was saying about the need to love ourselves, about the need to accept ourselves, about the need to create peace inside of ourselves. And I feel like that is such a lovely echo here. Sapphire Dragon. Sapphire Dragon is coming up. Transparence, harmony, and vision. So let me see if I can find the Sapphire Dragon here. I love this deck, but it really would have been nicer if it would have been in a like alphabetical order in the book, but that's okay. All right, so Sapphire Dragon, ooh, group truth. You are being called to recognize some deeper currents running within your community. This may be a relationship, your family, a committee you sit on, or your community at large. The frequency of the Sapphire Dragon is about group dynamics and holding a pillar of truth, which entails equality, justice, and patience for all to be heard, for all to be held accountable, and to maintain transparency in all dealings with each other. Without these, harmony cannot endure. Blame never serves. Walls never serve. All need to be welcome at the table. Where do you need to step up your role in your group? Where do you need to speak truth in order to release undercurrents of discord and mistrust that are eating away at the integrity of your group? Where can you lead by example into the hard spaces of the group dynamic to bring it into ever greater harmony? The Sapphire Dragon will be your ally to do so. So I feel like this is again talking about the collective energies and all of the things that are going on in this world. There are a lot of huge, gigantic shifts that are happening in humanity over the next year, 2 years, 3 years ish. We're going to see a lot of gigantic changes in the dynamics that we have as groups on this planet, from the small groups to the large, from our family groups all the way up to our governments and corporations. All of these things are in shift and in change. And I believe I even talked about that a little bit more with the Prism Oracle just a little bit ago. And so our individual pieces all fit together in this majestic tapestry that we experience as life on this planet. And it is important to honor our individual roles and to show up with peace, integrity, love, compassion, kindness, truth, and to do what we can to be effective with our own power. And the Sapphire Dragon is coming up to support us in those goals. The final dragon is the Copper Dragon coming up, and his card says wisdom, insight, and willingness. So I believe I passed him already. Hang on a second. Let me find this. Here we are. The Copper Dragon is wisdom. The soul is a storehouse of experiences, insights, and knowledge gained from lifetimes in many planes of existence. The Copper Dragon is our access point to these records in the earth plane. He is present with us today in order to help us access key pieces that we need to remember in this moment that applies to our current situation and will help us navigate through it in a new way to achieve different results. It may well be time to shift the patterns and behaviors that are continuing to circle back around without resolution. The Copper Dragon is here to help us use all of our soul's knowledge to create the shift and make a different soul level choice, which will dynamically change the pattern if we have the resolve to see it through and do it differently. The three key words are wisdom, insight, and willingness. So here, this is a call to our own power. Here, this is a call to mind the Akash, as Cryon would say, and call forth all of the wisdom and attributes of mastery that exist within us. And that actually reminds me that I have an upcoming ancestral healing Zoom coming up on the 24th, about 5 days away. I do these once a month. And what we do in these ancestral healing Zooms is each participant releases a trapped emotion or belief coming from 50 plus generations back that is detrimental to ourselves and our collective human family. And then after we do all of our releasing, we download some new positive replacement beliefs. And then we do a ceremony to call forth all of the wisdom and attributes of mastery that have been cultivated throughout our family line in order to catalyze peace on earth. So, this is something that I do on a monthly basis, and I invite you to please join me as we are truly trying to shift into a much more positive, much more supportive, much more peaceful and benevolent society that supports all of us. And it requires all of our participation. And this was something that I designed to try and make as much of a positive difference as I personally can, but I can only do it with your help. So for every person that's ever participated, thank you. And for every person who is going to participate, thank you, because together we make the positive difference. Together, we are calling forth the blessings from our Akash. Together, we are choosing to move forward with greater wisdom, with greater willingness to try new things, with greater insight and benevolence in this world so that we can manifest peace on earth. And it is time. It is time. It is time to access that wisdom. I love this. I love it so much. Thank you, my dear dragon friends. That was really beautiful and very benevolent. All right. So, the final thing I would like to do is get ourselves a little healing mantra. This beautiful deck was created by Matt Kahn. He's one of my favorite mentors. I love the work that he and his wife Joy are doing. They actually just posted a wonderful video talking about AI and what that means that I found very insightful. So check that out if you feel inclined. That's over on their YouTube channel. So let's go ahead and shuffle this deck and let's get ourselves, I want to say, 3 healing mantras to support us in this time. So, all right. Befriending pain. Befriending pain. When discomfort becomes a friend, my most limiting beliefs are healed. So I invite you to affirm with me. When discomfort becomes a friend, my most limiting beliefs are healed. Nice deep breath. And just sit with that a minute. And I feel like this card speaks to our desire to avoid pain at all times. And so many of our dysfunctional behaviors, our addictions, our disassociations are all rooted in trying to escape the discomforts of life. What happens if we turn towards them? What happens if we turn towards that discomfort and instead of trying to run away or deny it or bury it, what if we reach out our hand in friendship? What if we offer it love? What if we meet ourselves in our pain and give ourselves loving support that we've never had? What if we say, thank you, pain. for the lessons that you are sharing with me now? What if we say, "Dear pain, tell me what it is that you need me to know. How can I help you feel better?" What if we do those things instead of numbing out? How might that change our experience? When discomfort becomes a friend, my most limiting beliefs are healed. Polishing my heart, make it all nice and shiny. Feeling is a power that helps me heal. Beautiful. Please affirm with me. Let's take a nice deep breath. Feeling is a power that helps me heal. And that is true. How many of you have already heard you have to feel it to heal it? And yet again, we spend so much time trying to run away from pain, trying to run away from our discomfort, trying to numb it out, trying to fix it, heal it, make it better. What if it's there for a reason? What if those feelings are just asking us to meet them where they are? What if those feelings have important messages for us? What if those feelings just need to be loved and accepted? What if those feelings just need to be heard? I think so much of the dysfunction in humanity comes from this dysfunctional relationship we have with our feelings. We want to pretend like, oh, no emotions necessary, it's just business. Or if we're having a feeling that is distressing, that the first thing that we're supposed to do is make it go away, make it stop, make it end. Our feelings are sacred messengers from our soul. Our feelings are telling us where we need to make a change, where we need more support, where we're in alignment. There's no such thing as a high vibration emotion or a low vibration emotion. It's what we do with that information. I like Matt Kahn's perspective where he stated, there's no such thing as a low vibration emotion, only a slow vibration emotion. When we are in a less preferred emotional state, this is an indication that it is time to ask ourselves some questions. What do I need to change? Do I need more support? Or is this something that I need a little space and a little time to sit with it and feel it and just allow it to pass? Our emotions are like small children. And what happens with the small child if you don't give it attention? It gets louder, gets more dysfunctional until it gets some attention. And according to children, negative attention is better than no attention at all. And so it's time to reevaluate our relationship with our feelings, because feeling is a power that helps me heal. Final card, demystifying the darkness. My shadow shows me where my love needs to be sent. Ooh, take a nice deep breath and feel into that one. So let's review what our shadow is. Our shadow is that place of ourselves that we consider to be dark, that we don't want to acknowledge, that we wish wasn't there. All of those feelings, thoughts, emotions, actions that we are ashamed of or want to hide. Those are our shadow. And I was in a group with Lee Carroll, and he said once, and it really struck with me, that each one of us is equally Hitler as we are Mother Teresa, that both potentials and possibilities exist at all times inside of us. And that really struck me because we are given free choice by this universe. We are literally put on this planet, and there will never be a situation where an angel will come down out of the sky and bop you on the nose and say, "Hey, don't do that." Nor will there be a consequence where demons come up out of the earth and then drag you down into the bowels of hell to be tortured forever, no matter what you do. Never once in history has that ever happened. While these things might exist on an energetic level, our free choice is always honored, and we are unconditionally loved by the universe. And we are allowed to make whatever choices that we make without judgment, without punishment. The sun will never stop shining on you. The ground will never fall away beneath your feet because of any action that you take, good or bad. So let's take a deep breath and affirm, my shadow shows me where my love needs to be sent. And again, those dark parts of us that we don't like, those behaviors that we wish we didn't do, those things that we feel like, oh gosh, I'm so ashamed of that. Those are like just parts of ourselves that need to be acknowledged, that need to be loved, that need to be accepted, that need to be integrated so they can stop acting out. These things only act out because they haven't received the love and acceptance that they desire and deserve. And the more we try and shove those down, the more that we try and pretend that it doesn't exist, the more that we sit there and blame and shame and beat ourselves up over it, the more that that actually causes that shadow to grow. But the more that we can sit there and say, it reminds me of what Matt Kahn said when he was talking about a way to address addiction. He said, rather than looking at this behavior, this addiction, and saying, oh, I should stop that, I need to quit that, whatever. He says that instead of doing that, every time you engage in that behavior, whatever it is, say, I am doing this for my best and highest good. Thank you. And then do your behavior. No blame, no shame, no trying to stop. Simply say, every time that you are doing that, whatever it is that you wish you didn't do, I am doing this for my best and highest good. And see what happens. Because oftentimes, when we give that part of ourselves the love and acceptance that it's never before had, it stops crying out for attention. It stops needing to behave that way. It stops on its own without us having to force or try. And isn't that a more loving way to meet ourselves? To acknowledge that my shadow shows me where my love needs to be sent. I love that. Whew. All right. Well, thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I hope that this has helped you feel better. I definitely feel better after these beautiful messages from my little oracle decks. And If there is any way that I may be of service in helping you to meet yourself with more love and compassion, in assisting you to release the burdens that you carry, please reach out. You can find me at phoenixhealingcreations.com. And please give this channel a like and subscribe because I'm going to keep making more videos like this. So, yeah, I'll see you the next time. Have a beautiful day.